Coming to the mood, what is really wrong with the textbooks? Now, there are, of course, some of the obvious flaws which many of you keep catching routinely, the innumerable factual errors. It is a case of Norman de Jong's lies, lies, and more lies, and only lies. One wouldn't know really where to begin. I and Rinku, as a matter of fact, we undertook this entire exercise of compiling errors, and it ran into 40 pages, I think. How many were these? 45 to 50 pages almost. It will be impossible to go into all of these within a single presentation, but Rinku will take up some of these more glaring ones subsequently. Then there are big problems with methodology, which also we'll discuss later. There are flaws in presentation. The foundational concepts of history, the sources, archaeology, dating, etc., are either absent or presented in a very haphazard manner without logical progression of one concept leading to the next. The biggest problem is there is no periodization, clearly defining the stages of human evolution and culture along with material advancement. A lot of information is provided in cluttered, incoherent manner. So the child never really gets a picture of where to fit in such a huge amount of information covering 6 to 7 millennia of human past. Then the content is mixed up, distorting the picture to such an extent as to make it incomprehensible and misleading. Prehistory is very sketchily presented. A comprehensive picture is missing of Indian society, Indian civilization, vis-a-vis the human history and simultaneous civilizations of the world. Then there are serious chronological flaws, which is a cardinal sin in textbook history. Then there are dubious elements. The narration itself is a loose, polemical ramble, much of it without any basis in truth or justification in sources. There are outdated theories thrown in, presented as established facts, the famous Aryan invasion. Then there is conflation of the concept of Arya and with the Nazi racial idea of the Aryan race. And there is also this definite insidious agenda. The Marxist subtext is present throughout in these textbooks. All through, there is an underlying purpose to twist historical material around the preset narrative, devising within them themes of gender and patriarchy, caste and conflict, deprivation and disempowerment, exploitation and oppression, and to contrive a distinct parallel subaltern culture to portray history as their class struggle against a hegemonic Brahminism and the rulership. This is the primary purpose of Marxist historiography. It does not suit their purpose to view human development and social relationships as a natural process through a complex of social interactions and a gradually evolved order over time, and culture as expressions of human creativity, aspiration, and evolution of human consciousness. Then the material is present in the present books consists of selected historical events or factoids or half facts, even fibs for that matter, presented in random and vague fashion so that they don't convey history at all. What they're doing is they're selecting elements from history to adapt these for inculcating their ideology. It is, in fact, literally a communist induction manual, merely set to a historical theme. It is meant to fulfill the ideologue's agenda. Teaching is history is simply not the intention. And the consequent picture is so distorted and removed from reality of the past that it takes the child to a disjointed, dismal dystopia of conflict, of exploitation, of inequity, which does not excite their interest. Rather, it makes them mentally switch off from it. The true purpose of history for the children to learn in order learn about the past in order to connect with it to derive a sense of pride and identity from it is lost. Our overall conclusion has been that there is so much wrong in these books that cannot be improved upon. They have to be discarded wholesale. Then there is also a definite pernicious agenda. Completely ahistorical artificial constructs to have been inserted to deliberately create fault lines of gender, caste, subnationalism, counterfactual ruler versus rule dichotomy. Now, these things are simply not true. The ruler to subject relationship as a parent to child paradigm was in fact conceived in India Then the period before Islamic invasions is portrayed as a dark, tired, disordered world ruled by despots. And the books are also filled with some of the most outrageous lies. The devastation of foreign invasions are turned into benign and beneficial influences. Pre Islamic rulers are portrayed as wasteful, boastful, warmongering tyrants, even temple breakers. Indianness itself is diluted by blurring the line between Islamic invaders and Indian rulers. This is a very shocking example. They actually mention Mahmud Ghazni as another one among the Indian rulers, merely wanting to enrich himself by wars, just as other Hindu rulers were doing. The relates regards to society, the actual workings of Varna, Jati, etc., the flexibility and scope of upward mobility and integration, since foreigners were also continually absorbed in the Indian mainstream, is deliberately misrepresented. This history doesn't have the remotest resemblance to the long standing reality of Indian society, which was an arrangement of deference to knowledge, precedence to those who bore greater onus and obligation in society, and caste not as a hierarchical power structure, but differentiated functions, occupation and specialization, and the consequent character, an aspirational index, calling, and identity. The extent to which Indian civilization has been devalued is beyond belief. Indian literature is presented as uninspiring, the architectural excellence not as marks of brilliance or technical marvel or the beauty of the times, but as signs of the ruler's vainglory. And the social system was oppressive and discriminatory. There's absolutely nothing in there that a child would feel good about. It tells children that Indian civilization has nothing of value, therefore, there's nothing worthy of being defended. And that it was fair game for every foreign adventurer, every prospector's Eldorado. And this is a very deliberate agenda throughout the NCRT books.